What's going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the top 10 reasons not to move to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Let's get into it. My name is Ramon Lamelli. I'm a local realtor and team leader of the Smart Move Group brokered by eXp Realty here in Winston-Salem as well as the surrounding areas. We're not going to waste any of your time today. Let's get right into it. Number one is going to be the weather. Now, as a whole, I do love North Carolina and Winston-Salem weather specifically, but I do hear a lot of people complain that our summers are really hot, muggy, and humid, and we don't really get that cold for too long in the winter. But there are two things you got to worry about in the winter. One could be a power outage, especially if you live on the outskirts of town, and the other one, more importantly, black ice. Whenever temperatures get below freezing, especially if we had rain recently, you really have to look out for black ice. And if you're not sure what black ice is, maybe you've never experienced it, water is obviously clear, right? So it freezes over, you're on the asphalt, it looks like just asphalt, then you go to tap your brakes for some reason, not realizing you're driving over ice. Next thing you know, you've lost control, you're spinning around, you might hit a tree or a house or an oncoming car. So black ice is definitely something to watch out for when the temperatures drop. But like I said, overall, the Winston-Salem weather is great. It's very mild weather here, except for our hot, humid, muggy summers, and then every now and then we got to worry about black ice. Number two, transportation. It's next to impossible to live in Winston-Salem, North Carolina if you don't have a car. Winston-Salem is not a very walkable city. No matter what kind of errands you've got to run, whether it's dropping off the kids, going to the grocery store, post office, it's going to involve a 5, 10, 15, 25-minute ride. Except for the downtown part of Winston-Salem and specific areas as well, everything seems to be kind of spread out more over a larger area. Thankfully, my commute to the office here is only about 15 minutes every day, and I live on the outskirts of Winston-Salem. My office is kind of in the middle, so it's about a 30-40 minute drive from one extreme of the city to the other. Now, we do have public buses and there's ride-sharing apps, but practically speaking, you're going to want to get a vehicle. So if you're coming from a town or a lifestyle or a city where it's very walkable and you don't need a vehicle, that's not the case here. You're definitely going to need a vehicle when you move here. Number three on today's list is going to be entertainment. The main venues or the bigger venues for concerts, sports, theaters are all going to be in the bigger cities like Charlotte and Raleigh, maybe Greensboro. And while that definitely is a negative in Winston-Salem here, it's not too often that we go to concerts or sporting events. So if we plan on going to a sporting event or a concert or some kind of comedy show, we might as well just spend the night in Charlotte, grab an Airbnb or a hotel room. Or if we're going to Raleigh, same thing. We're going to get an Airbnb to stay the night. Even though Charlotte's just hour 20 minutes away, Raleigh's 2.5 hours away. By the time the concert's over, you're usually pretty tired, and who wants to make that drive? So if you're a big sports family or you love going to concerts, that's definitely something to consider. But when you take into account the price differences between big cities like Charlotte and Raleigh, but you're gonna find that, hey, maybe it's worth it to make a drive every now and then and get an Airbnb a couple times a year. By the way, guys, if you're getting any kind of value out of this video, I would really appreciate it if you go down there, like this video, leave me a comment, and above all, subscribe. Those kinds of things keep me motivated to keep pumping out these videos for you. Number four, guys, we're gonna talk about the traffic in Winston-Salem. Now, by and large, there's not a ton of traffic overall in Winston-Salem. We do have a few kind of bottlenecks, though, that if you have to travel through those at certain times, it's gonna be a traffic situation. You're gonna be stuck in traffic for a little bit. One of the big ones that I can think of off the top of my head right now is where 421 runs into 52. If you're trying to get through there around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, it's gonna be a wait. You're gonna have to wait in line, try to get off the exit and do the little loop thing. I think because the city is growing, we're starting to see a little bit more traffic than usual. But thankfully here in Winston-Salem, they are building a big outer loop, so hopefully that'll alleviate some of the traffic. And if you can either avoid rush hour traffic or take some surface roads, you might be better served. All right, guys, number five on today's list is gonna be allergies. And I've talked before about allergies on this channel. The Allergy Association of America ranked Winston-Salem as number 64 of the most challenging places to live with fall allergies, which is not what I had in mind, and it's not kind of what I experienced. We actually didn't even make the top 100 for spring allergies, which is what the most people around here actually complain about. So that's kind of an interesting statistic there. In the fall, I don't really have allergies. We're actually going into winter right now, and I haven't had allergies at all. So maybe we shouldn't believe everything we see on the internet, I guess, because for me, the springtime is where it's at when it comes to allergy. I mean, it's really ridiculous. You can see the wind pass through a tree and just a haze of dust of pollen flies off of that tree. It's crazy. You gotta see. And because of that, if you're susceptible to allergies, you're gonna have a hard time here in Winston-Salem. You could do what I do, pop an Allegra every now and then, and you should be set, but you should definitely consider that before moving to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Number six, property taxes. So the good news is that North Carolina as a whole ranks below the national average of taxes in the country. However, it just so happens that Forsyth County, the county that Winston-Salem is in, taxes is significantly higher than the average in the state. So the state as a whole has cheaper taxes. However, Forsyth County, where Winston-Salem is, turns out to be higher than average for property taxes. But then again, the city is growing rapidly and our property values are lower than some of the bigger cities in the state. So I don't find the taxes to be out of the ordinary or crazy in my opinion. Number 7, guys, we're gonna talk about the airports. In Winston-Salem, we do have a local airport here, Piedmont International Airport, but you're not gonna find a ton of commercial flights going out of that place. Anytime it's time for me and my family to travel, we're either going to Raleigh or we're going to Charlotte. And honestly, for us, it's not that big of a deal because Raleigh is only just shy of 2 hours away and Charlotte is only about an hour 20 minutes away. So we just kind of find where the cheapest flights are going out of and book them there. If you like to travel a lot, like me and my family, or maybe you travel a lot for business and you have to be close to an airport, you're gonna have to consider that Winston-Salem is gonna be either an hour 20 to Charlotte to an international airport, or to the Raleigh side, you're looking at 1 hour 40 to 2 hour drive. All right, guys, we're up to number 8, and that's gonna be a rapidly growing city. Now, overall, I think that's a great thing because, hey, new things to do, new things to eat, new things to see, new businesses, growing economy, new businesses coming into the area, more employment opportunities. However, the reason it's on this list is because unfortunately there is a ton of construction everywhere. The highways are under construction. There's new housing developments under construction left and right. Buildings are being remodeled. Brand new construction buildings are going up. And A, it can be unsightly. B, it causes some kind of traffic delays a lot of the time. And C, the other thing, and I think the biggest reason why people dislike that is because it's taken away from the beauty or the scenery or the natural beauty of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. A lot of the woods and nature here is being developed. It's becoming just one big industrial zone, and that's why people have a problem with it. Number 9, guys, we're gonna talk about the food scene in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. But before we jump into that, I just want to remind you, if you get a second, hit that like button, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. It really helps out the channel, keeps me motivated to pump out these videos for you. The food scene here isn't all that bad, to be honest with you. We have all the well-known sit-down restaurants. We have a lot of local food too, which I really like. We're big on seafood, we're big on barbecue. Ton of great Mexican restaurants. We have Thai, Japanese, Chinese. We even have some really nice local high-end restaurants. I think where we begin to suffer though is if you have like a dietary restriction, like you're vegan or even vegetarian, there's not gonna be a ton of restaurants that cater just for that. And at regular restaurants, there's not gonna be a ton of options for those dietary needs. Some people even say that we don't have as much culture as other major big cities, but if you're craving something really specific, you might end up having to go to Charlotte, Raleigh, or even Greensboro. Number 10 is gonna be education. Forsyth County is ranked number 25 out of 100 counties in North Carolina. Now, we definitely have some highly ranked outlier schools here. There's also private school, but hey, number 25 out of 100, we're like in the best quarter, right? The number 25 isn't number 85, so there's that. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe, leave me a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.